Hello friends, this is Liz Taylor Magic, reporting live from my magical forest. In my imagination I own this. This is my kingdom. I would like to talk to you guys today about Your Life in Color by Dougall Fraser. I won this book in a contest a few months ago and I'm still really excited about that big win. It was a major victory for me. But yeah, so this book is awesome. It provides you a spiritual practice incorporating the use of color into your life and the symbolism that it brings and the subconscious cues and stuff that help you expand in certain areas and identify certain blocks without revealing too much information because I think you should get the book and read it for yourself. So this being a spiritual practice book, I think it merits intermittent progress reports. And so when I first spoke of this book a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to sort of do like a weekly report and share each week, you know, what color I'm doing and what the progress is. So since then, I got really busy with work bookings. I work in TV, film, and video production, and that's pretty much like all encompassing. It's at least 12 hours a day, not counting like bathing yourself and like getting to work and trying to sleep with your eyes feeling like they're still open because you know you have to wake up. And so now that that's calmed down, I've been able to finish the books that I was reading and like sum all that up and now devote my attention to Your Life in Color, Dougall Fraser. So I'm at the beginning and basically so far I've learned about the activation processes and I'm getting the idea that we're going to start with the color white. And so the last couple of nights I've actually, I've been reading this in the evening, even though I probably should read it during the day because whenever I do these exercises when I'm going to bed, I immediately fall asleep. Unless I have to work the next day and then it doesn't work. So as long as I don't have to be anywhere, I fall asleep like in the snap of a finger and I feel like I haven't really gotten the full benefit of really bathing myself in the color. But then again, I have because so far, 2 nights in a row, I've briefly been able to take myself through the spiritual visualization exercise of imagining myself bathed in the color. He gives a specific kind of way to visualize this, and he has his specific reasons which are legitimate. And so I've been following those instructions, and even in the few minutes that I've been able to stay awake and do them, I've had better quality sleep and I've had the most vivid dreams and they've been speaking to me on a spiritual level as well as showing me how I can apply like these lessons into my life to be more a more like well-rounded and productive person in the physical world, because you know, being spiritual really doesn't do you any good if you're like dysfunctional in the physical world. This is where we are. We're in our meat suits for a reason. So, whoops. Back to my, I've gone off on a tangent. Oh yeah, so my dreams were more vivid. I was almost more lucid within the dreams and I was able to remember them way more vividly when I woke up, which is usually a problem. I usually have a deep sensation that I've been somewhere doing something and learning about things and communicating with people, but I almost can't like articulate those thoughts into words because I almost can't even comprehend like the full reality of where I was. It's like I can get an essence, but I can't like put words to it or get a full rounded visualization. But in the past couple of nights I've been able to write down like pages and pages in the morning that almost like read like a script that is like, okay, and cut to this scene and then all this happened and then somebody said this to me and this is how I felt about it and then this happened. And they've been very clear symbols that I was able to then look up in different sources. One that I really particularly like that is sort of consistent with symbology that, you know, my family and my tribe we've always been dream interpreters. And so this dreammoods.com is very consistent with sort of like how we've always perceived symbols, and also it elaborates on things that I would have never thought of. So it's been really, really helpful. And I think that Dream Moods is sort of more based on Carl Jungian mindsets and like thought processes and school of thought than Freud, which is everything's a penis, and if you don't have one, you want one, and if you have one, then you love it so much that it's everything or nothing. So defines you, the penis. Okay, so enough about penises. So we're studying the color white, and white is just the basic knowledge I have about it is purifying and very spiritual. It's associated with the crown chakra, which is up in this area. I'm wearing my owl feather. It's my animal totem because I have some owl friends that hide out in these woods. Sometimes they come to visit, sometimes they're talkative even during the day. So I always hope one's gonna like swoop into frame and like land on my shoulder. Maybe, we can hope. I'll just get my fingers ready to come perch. Falconry and action. Just kidding. So I haven't learned all that I need to about white yet, but that's what I'm going to be doing this week. So I'm going to take these exercises and apply them to the color white, and we'll see how it goes. He does suggest that you work on each color for at least a week. That way you're able to pick up on like the subtle nuances of changing things in your life and how it actually makes a difference. Whereas like if you speed through and do like more than one in a day, or you know, just one every other day, you know, it kind of just blends into a mush, or you know, like a spiritual casserole, and you don't really know what is affecting you and how. And so the basic processes that you are going to be using when you buy this book, Your Life in Color, and you actually read it and you do the exercises like good magical practitioners. Stern but fun. So there's the basic spiritual activation, which is a meditation that is coupled with a visualization process, and he takes you through that. And then the next type of activation is the universal activation, which he sort of compares to the I Spy with My Little Eye game. And then there are two ways that you can do the universal activation, and that is well, first I want to say that I think in my experience, I think it might be best to see what spontaneously is standing out to you at first rather than intentionally looking for something, because I think that when we're first developing our intuition, we can try to look for what we want to see, and we can justify things, and we can find exactly what we're looking for wherever we want to see it. And then that means that we can make things signs that aren't signs and whatnot. So when you're first getting started, maybe, you know, for the first couple of days, see what spontaneously is calling out to you, and then that will give you insight into where you are energetically and what kind of lessons that you're dealing with in the moment. And so the spontaneous activation is when you're going through life, see what colors are spontaneously catching your attention. This might be the fact that you keep finding yourself attracted to an eggplant, or like that douche blue that you see on like those muscle cars or something. You're like, why am I keep attracting to this like color? It's something that is going to keep coming up in, you know, random ways, and you're just like, oh man, I've noticed this a lot lately, like it must mean something. Another way that you can notice it is to be repelled. Instead of being attracted by a color, you might be repelled by it, and then in that case you would want to, you know, take note and like look up to see what the color message is for the shadow side of that color. So if you're attracted to a color, it might mean that this is something that is a strength in you, or this might be a helpful virtue or value to enhance in your life right now that might help you in a lot of ways, and you might be getting more momentum than usual with this color. Or if you're repelled by it and it's like, oh, I hate this color, and it's speaking to the shadow, it might give you some indication of where you might have an energetic block, or where you might be getting stuck, or where, you know, something might be stagnant in your life, or you just need to work on it or heal it. And it's, you know, kind of cueing you or triggering you to like heal that part of yourself, or, you know, source the wound of like what's causing like this pattern. And so that might mean it will give you an indication of how you can sort of like approach the healing process from there, and then you can sort of figure out what is your plan, like what will help you. You know, do you need to, you know, treat yourself with more self-love, or maybe you need to get out and be more active, or maybe this is an issue of, you know, listening to your intuition or taking out more quiet time. Who knows? You know, it's something that you need to be active in that process for yourself, because you don't want to be giving your power away. You want to learn from people, but you don't want to make them your guru or, you know, because only you know what's going on within you, and you know what's working and what's not. And you most definitely need to listen to people who are wiser to you and take their suggestions and learn from them, but also take those suggestions with a grain of salt, because they're just doing the best they can too. And ultimately, like, you know yourself, and you have to figure out if you're being realistic with yourself or honest with yourself. So the best thing you can do early on is use these tools to help you. And that's one great thing about Dougall, is that what he believes is the same. He doesn't want to be telling you who you are, what to do. He wants you to figure out how to, you know, help yourself. So that is what I'm taking away from the first few pages of Your Life in Color. I have to say, I love this book. Like, I enjoy just seeing it sitting near me, and I kind of, it like follows me around the house because I bring it with me everywhere, and I like to set it nearby so I can at least see it and absorb it through osmosis, even if I'm not reading it at that moment. All right, well, I hope this has served you. I know that it's gone 11 minutes. I hope I've held your attention, or at least trained you to stay focused. All right, hope your every moment is graced with light, love, and magic. Peace. My ADD got me distracted, and I forgot to finish talking about the activation processes, which is exactly why I'm trying to vlog more, and why I haven't vlogged more already, because I'm afraid I'm gonna get sidetracked and forget what I'm talking about, and that's what I did. So here's to perfection or imperfections. Go Brene Brown. The third activation process is color affirmations, and that's basically when you take the synopsis of the meaning of the color and you tell yourself that this is how you're going to incorporate it to your life in a positive way. And you can either make your own affirmations from the conclusions you draw on the meanings, or you can use the ones that Dougall gives you. I know that I heard he suggests that you say them in first person to yourself, like, you are this or this or that, and I am supported, I am this and this and that. So you say I. But Brendan Burchard has pointed out recently that very highly effective people speak to themselves in the second or third person, where they say, like, Liz, you're doing the best you can. Like, you can't expect, you know, too much of yourself. Like, you can't expect to be perfect. Like, you're just gonna, like, your thoughts are gonna wander. So that would be the difference. And I would suggest trying both ways, you know? I mean, I think they both have their benefits, and I think they both have merit. And so that is color affirmation. The fourth type of activation is physical activation, and this is when you surround yourself with props that are that color that you're working on. And then what makes them even more powerful is if you consciously say, like, okay, I'm gonna have this bouquet of flowers, and they're going to remind me of this lesson, and I'm going to wear white today. I'm gonna have white lilies. I'm gonna carry around white rocks. I'm going to notice white things in my life, and I'm gonna surround myself in white as a subconscious reminder that's going to be there and keep that in the back of my mind even if I don't realize it. So yes, so that's the 4 activations, and we'll report back in a few days and see how it's going. Bye.